Expanded summary of Runaway Realization, Living a Life of Ceaseless Discovery. This book explores the idea that spiritual realization is not a fixed state or final enlightenment, but an ongoing process of discovery. Almaas introduces the view of totality, which sees reality as endlessly revealing itself, rather than having a single ultimate truth. The book challenges traditional spiritual paths, emphasizing that true freedom comes from embracing uncertainty and the continuous unfolding of realization. Introduction: The Turnings of the Wheel. Almaas opens by questioning the common spiritual assumption that realization leads to an endpoint. He explains that reality is not a static truth, but rather a ceaseless revelation. His teaching, the Diamond Approach, has evolved over time, and in this book he introduces a new understanding: the four turnings of the wheel. Inspired by Buddhist philosophy, Almaas describes four major phases of spiritual development. 1. The first turning, discovering the individual soul as a conscious entity distinct from the ego. 2. The second turning, awakening to boundlessness and non-duality, seeing all reality as one. 3. The third turning, realizing freedom beyond unity and non-duality, breaking even spiritual attachments. The fourth turning, embracing totality, where all views coexist without contradiction. This book primarily explores the fourth turning, showing how realization is an infinite adventure, not a fixed destination. Part 1. Practice is realization. 1. Continual practice. Traditional spiritual paths often view practice as a means to an end. Meditate, awaken, and reach enlightenment. Almaas rejects this idea, arguing that true practice is never-ending and integrated into everyday life. Key ideas: enlightenment is not a final state, but a way of being. Every moment, whether meditating, eating, or working, can be a form of practice. We must abandon the idea that we will one day finish the journey. Example: a person who meditates daily but sees it as just a tool to achieve peace or enlightenment is missing the point. True practice is not about achieving something later, but about engaging with reality right now. 2. The Enlightenment Drive. Almaas introduces the concept of an inner drive toward realization, much like biological instincts, e.g., survival, reproduction. This enlightenment drive naturally pushes us toward self-discovery. 3 stages of awakening the enlightenment drive. 1. Head center, intellectual interest. The drive begins as a curiosity about enlightenment, reading books, studying philosophy, and seeking knowledge. 2. Heart center, devotional longing. The drive deepens into love for truth, devotion, and compassion. It moves beyond intellectual pursuit into emotional engagement. 3. Belly center, embodied action. The drive matures into direct, lived experience. Instead of wanting realization, one lives it naturally. Why this matters? If the enlightenment drive is only active in the head, it remains theoretical. If it's only in the heart, it can become sentimental without real engagement. But when it activates in the belly, it becomes a powerful force that sustains lifelong practice. 3. Motiveless practice. Most people approach spiritual practice with some goal: to be happier, to end suffering, or to attain enlightenment. Almaas argues that this is still ego-driven and can create subtle attachments. True practice has no motive. Many people start practicing to escape suffering, but this is a self-centered approach. Some practice to help others, compassion, service, devotion, which is less egoic but still goal-oriented. The highest form of practice is motiveless, done simply as an expression of reality itself. Example: a flower does not bloom because it has a goal. It blooms because that is what it does. Similarly, a realized being practices naturally without seeking reward. Act 4. Practice to no end. Most spiritual traditions offer a final goal: nirvana, God realization, full awakening. Almaas challenges this idea, suggesting that realization is infinite. Key insights: there is no final destination, only continuous unfolding. Realization is not about arriving at a truth, but about staying open to endless discovery. Even fully enlightened beings continue to deepen their understanding. Example: a scientist does not stop researching after one discovery. Each new insight leads to another. The same is true for spiritual realization. Uncaused realization. People often assume that practice leads to realization. But Almaas suggests that realization is uncaused. It simply happens. The illusion of causality. We meditate, inquire, and engage in spiritual work, yet realization often comes unexpectedly, in nature, in a casual conversation, or in a dream. This suggests that practice does not cause realization, but aligns us with its spontaneous unfolding. Implication. Let go of the idea that practice will earn enlightenment. Instead, engage with practice, because it is the natural way to live. 6. Non-self-centered practice. Even advanced practitioners can subtly seek personal gain through practice, peace, enlightenment, transcendence. Almaas suggests that true practice is not about the self at all. Key shift in perspective. Instead of seeing practice as I am practicing, recognize that reality itself is practicing through you. When you let go of personal attachment, practice becomes effortless. Part 2. Endless enlightenment. 7. Opening time and space. When we awaken, our perception of time and space changes. Instead of linear time, we experience timelessness. Instead of fixed space, we experience spacelessness. 8. Total being. Almaas introduces total being, a realization that all perspectives, duality, non-duality, theistic, atheistic, are equally valid. Reality cannot be pinned down to one ultimate truth. 9.13. The nature of realization. These chapters explore paradoxes like non-doing versus effort. Realization happens effortlessly, yet requires engagement. Emptiness versus fullness. Reality is both a void and a rich fullness. Delusions of realization. Even awakened people can get stuck in subtle ego traps. Part 3. Views of freedom. 4-18. Total freedom and beyond enlightenment. These final chapters describe freedom as the absence of fixed views, the idea that realization is never-ending, an infinite adventure, that reality is not one or two, it simply is. Final message. The greatest realization is understanding that there is no final realization. Instead of seeking an ultimate state, we must embrace ceaseless discovery. Key takeaways. Realization is endless. There is no final enlightenment, only continuous discovery. True practice has no goal. The highest form of practice is motiveless. Reality includes all perspectives. No single spiritual view can capture totality. Freedom is not reaching an endpoint. It is living openly without fixed views.